Hello, all you coin collectors out there, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. Today we're going to take a look at some Irish 1 penny coins. Um, Actually, we're going to start with the modern coin, which is, of course, the Euro cent coin, and then go back through the Irish 1 penny coins, back to the 1 pinion coins, and all the way back to the Irish Free State 1 pinion coin from 1928. And we can see a whole stack of them here representing all the different years. And so let's just go through them one by one and take a look at them. Let's start with the Euro cent coins. We've got a couple of them here. And you can see that they have the Irish harp on the front. They have the year to the right. This is a 2013, a modern one. This is a 2002, the first year of issue. And if we look on the, we see there are 12 sides around. It says IRE and the year, and it's the same on both. And then if we turn them over, we see they say 1 euro cent on the top of each of them. And one of the reasons that I wanted to have both of these coins is this is the 2002, the first year the euro cent came out. And some people say, okay, show me the second euro cent map. And what happened was, for the euro cents, they changed the map on some of the euro cents in the year 2007. However, they never changed the map on the 1 euro cent, 2 euro cent, or 5 euro cent. So if you want to look for a different map on the Irish 1 euro cent or the 1 euro cent with the Irish obverse, there isn't a different map. It's been the same map since 2002 on. So there is not a different map for 2013 or any other year as of yet. Now, if we go back to the coin before that coin, we see the same kind of design. We see the 14-string harp. We see it says IRE on this side, 1971 on this side. And this was the Irish penny that came before the 1 euro cent. There are two different versions of this, so I should say. So this coin was made from 1971 until the year 2000 and demonetized in 2002 when the euro cents came in. But in 1988, they introduced a copper-plated steel version of this coin. So from 1971 until 1988, this coin was made, and it is a bronze coin, so it doesn't have any steel and it's non-magnetic. And then in 1988, the same year that they were making these coins still, they started making a copper-plated steel coin. So some of the coins you'll find are magnetic and some aren't. And the year where they break is 1988. And from 1989 on, all of them are magnetic. Let's take a look at the front. Oh, and we see that magnificent bird from the Book of Kells. And that is kind of a stylized bird. It does not really have, they don't really say exactly what the name is. It looks kind of like a peacock to me, but it doesn't quite. And this actually comes directly from the Book of Kells. It's a drawing on the Irish 1 penny coin. And 1971 was the first year of issue of that. 1988, they ended the bronze and then in the year 2000, they ended this penny altogether. Prior to that, we had the large Irish cents. Oops, we're going to have to go down a little bit, aren't we? So the large Irish cents, this is one of them. Again, we have a 14-string harp, and it turns out if you have one of the large cents, you can get incredible detail. And look at the fine carvings on here and how the scroll work and everything that goes down through this. Again, a 14-string harp, says IRE on the left, the year on the right. In 1968 was the last year they made the large pennies. How large are the large pennies? Well, this was the 1 penny coin from 1971, and this is the euro cent. So you see the large Irish cents were huge pennies. So in 1968, they made this coin, and they started making the coin in 1940. 40. So let's take a look. Well, let's flip it over. Take a look at it. And this is a fun one, isn't it? This is the hen with the chicks. And if you look right under her feet, you see the different chicks under her feet. And this is the hen. And it says 1D. And in 1968, that meant this was a 1 Pingin coin, which meant it was worth 1/240th of an Irish pound. Now, the 1p coins from 1971 were decimalized, and so they were worth 1/100th of a pound of the new Irish pound. The 1 Pingin coins until then were worth 1/240th of a pound. So when they went to decimalization, they changed the coins. You could still use this coin, but it had very little value compared to the pound. And in 1971, they took this one off the market and said, we're going to demonetize this one because of decimalization of the other coin. So that's the 1968, the last year they made that particular version of the coin. This is the 1940, and you can see just beautiful wear patterns on this. In terms of numbers, the 1940 to 1968 coin, in 1968 they made 21 million of these. It's kind of the last year they were going to make them. They didn't make them in 69 or 70. They came out in 71 with the new Irish penny. So in 68 they made a huge number, 21 million, more than twice, about twice what they'd made in any other year, except for 1942. And in 1940 they only made 312,000. So remember, this is during World War I. This is in 1968, well after Vietnam. The U.S. was in Vietnam, but Britain was not in a war really in 1968. Or was Ireland, or was any of the European countries in 1968. There was a lot of unrest, but this was 1968 was a year of big changes and big production increases in Ireland. All right, so that's the 1940. Let's keep the 1940 around. So when we look at the 1928, which is again the same design, the 1D, see how the pinion is written pretty much exactly the same design on both of these. So these are very, very similar coins. But when we get to the back, we see it doesn't say IRE on one side and the year on the other. It says essentially the Irish Free State, with half the year on this side and half the year on this side. Because they took the year, but they took some of the words off, they were able to make this harp bigger and changed kind of the design of the harp somewhat. When they changed the design of the harp, it turns out they went from 16 strings here to 14 here. So even if you couldn't see any of this stuff, you could tell that this is a bigger harp that has 14 strings instead of the old 16 strings. And this is the first year they made them, 1928, the Irish Free State 1 Pingin coin. And essentially this is a Percy Metcalfe design, both the front and the back. And so Percy Metcalfe did the front and the back of the original coin. Percy Metcalfe design stayed on the coin after 1940 and stayed on this side of the coin after 1940, but they changed the harp and they changed the number of strings. All right, so there's 1928, there's 1940, got 1968, 1971, and then of course all of these were demonetized in 2002 when the new euro coin came out, the euro 1 cent coin, because Ireland is part of the euro group and they produce euro coins, not Irish coins anymore. All right, that's all we have today from the DC Coin World International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you might have in the comments section.